How to Find True Motivation by Charles Duhigg. We're going to follow two people, Chad and Mike. Mike is a store clerk for a high-end tailor shop. He works set hours given to him every week. Mike doesn't get paid commission. He believes that no matter how much effort he puts in during the day, he'll get the same paycheck every month. Mike also feels like he's really only doing things that he's been told to do. His manager would tell him to assist that customer or grab more inventory from the stockroom. He feels like no matter how much harder he works or how many products he sells, he will have the same end result. Chad, on the other hand, has an equipment rental operation. He makes decisions from the top to the bottom of the business. He sets how many employees he has, what time they come in, the hours they stay open, and the prices of the products he's selling. Chad has to allocate where he's putting his time and energy because the decisions he makes, such as which method of advertising would reach more people or how much money do I put in marketing, can have a pretty drastic influence in the business's success. When you compare Chad and Mike, Chad is the happier guy, seen to be more successful, and generally makes more money. And the one factor that separates the two is the number one requirement for motivation, and that is self-control. Self-control, as defined in Charles Duhigg's book, is when we as people have authority over our actions and surroundings. We basically feel like we're in charge. One known backed way of improving in this area is by focusing on making choices. In Mike's case, he needs to analyze his work and see opportunities where he can make a decision. If possible, maybe Mike can make a decision on when to take his break, and potentially pick a time when the store is less busier. Maybe Mike can also request to be in the evening shift so that he doesn't have to see as much customers. Although these options seem small, the fact that Mike feels like he's making a decision actually will make him more motivated. If Mike's boss knew about this trick, he would actually motivate Mike by presenting his tasks as decisions rather than commands. Instead of saying, assist that customer, then fill up the stockroom, his boss can easily rephrase this to, would you like to help that customer first or replenish the stockroom? It's up to you. And there would be a huge difference in how Mike will see the task. So if you're ever having difficulty in performing a task, give this a try. If it's hard for you to write your essay, ask yourself which part would you like to write first. Maybe write up the conclusion initially, then jump to the citations. And if you're not as motivated to work out, maybe you should do cardio first before doing weights because you prefer cardio anyways. Making decisions can be helpful, but sometimes it may not be enough. There are times where we need to figure out what motivates us on a deeper level. Just by looking at the two guys, one obviously has a stronger feeling that he can influence their success through the decisions that they make. Chad praises himself for good things and also blames himself when things are not going so well with the business. If the business did not meet the expectations for the month, Chad owns up and looks for areas where he lacked. Chad also believes that if he works hard enough, the business can become a huge success. On the other hand, you got Mike. Mike thinks that there's no reason for him to work hard because his raise at the end of the year will be determined by his boss and he can't affect it whatsoever. No matter how hard he works, he'll get paid the same as well. The difference between the two is their locus of control. Chad believes that his actions and decisions make a big impact on how the business will turn out. This is someone who has an internal locus of control. Mike, on the other hand, feels like he has no influence on how successful he will be in the store. He thinks that everything is determined by factors outside his reach. This is known as having an external locus of control. Usually, people like Mike tend to be more depressed, live shorter lives, and are usually less satisfied with life compared to people like Chad. The good thing about locus of control is that it can be improved with the correct feedback and training. A study of an elementary school doing specific tasks found that students developed internal locus of control when they were told that they worked very hard at the project. It entails that they had some part or influence in the task that they did. Their counterparts were told that you were very smart. And surprisingly, these students were less motivated and did not enjoy the projects as much. Whenever you make a choice, ask yourself, why? The decisions you make should reflect and affirm your values and goals. Whenever Chad chooses to refuse to hang out with his friends and sleep early, his values and goals with his business is reflected. He wants the business to grow, and he wants to make his customers happy. All of this combined is what motivates Chad even further. If you find that your choices are not coinciding with your values and goals, That's probably another reason why you're lacking motivation. One of Mike's goals is to become his own boss, but none of the decisions he makes on a daily basis reflect this desire. He chooses to play games rather than focusing on finding a business mentor or developing his skills. So overall, if we give ourselves and other people a chance to make choices, their willpower will show up. And when these self-directed choices are converted into habits, motivation becomes an automatic thing. We need to experience feeling in control and being in charge. And once we realize that we like that feeling, we need to make it a habit. That constant need to have control will motivate and propel you to where you need to be. That's about it for this concept. This bit is found in Charles Duhigg's book, Smarter, Faster, Better. And if you had learned something new, please give me a like or subscribe. Thanks for listening.